I was burnt out 10 years before I actually made the leap. And I don't know if it was like fear or just uncertainty of like what my next move might be, but it tortured myself for so long. If you dwell on like what can go wrong, you're just never going to make a move.
Hey, this is Neeti, and what you're about to hear today is a very special episode with one of the members from our portfolio program.
We call these Sensei sessions. These interviews are designed to give you perspective about what you can achieve with the right strategies and execution.
I hope you enjoy this episode, and for free resources, check out our show notes section to see how you can build and scale your portfolio.
Let's start with who you are, where you're from, what you did before real estate, and what brings you here today.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. I'm Eileen Moore. I have been in the program. February will be 3 years, so it's been a while and it's been awesome. I live in New York City, which is a very expensive market to invest in. So I invest in Jacksonville, Florida. Before my real estate journey, I was in the corporate world. I was in PR and communications for about 23 plus years, but basically got like just super duper burned out. I had always like from even like I can remember being a teenager and thinking about real estate and wanting to own property. And it's just a tangible thing that you can understand versus like, the stock market, which just felt so like out there and like I'm not a finance person, but I understand the value of like a home and land and, also kind of like have a slight obsession with any and all home renovation shows. And so the bug caught me very early on. And so as I started to get more and more burnt out in my career, which lasted for the burnout was like way more years than I'm like brave enough to admit because I just hung on for way too long. I finally just decided I needed a change. So I quit my full-time corporate job. I started freelancing, picking up different projects here and there to allow me the flexibility to try something new. So like so many people, I had been, listening to different podcasts and, you hear from different gurus and there's this program and that program. And just, I took a while trying to figure out, what I really, really wanted to do. And then I got an ad probably like just fed to me because they were like, Eileen loves real estate. And so I think that I was targeted by Palik's algorithm. And I started just checking out the program, checking out her experience and BRRRR. And I decided like, okay, this seems like the direction if I want to pursue my real estate investing dreams, this seems like a solid option. She wasn't, posing in front of her Lamborghini and talking about, just like it was down to earth. She comes from a professional background. I'm like, I can relate to this woman. And so I had my intro call. I didn't even do the 5-day accelerator challenge, which I know a lot of people do prior to officially joining the program. I just jumped right in. I joke about myself that I'm a jumper inner, and that's sometimes a good thing. And other times it's like bitten me on the butt. But, I did. I just jumped right in and I learned how to invest in a different market. And I don't know if you want me to talk about my portfolio at this point.
Yeah, let's do it.
So yeah, it's I wrote notes. So if you see me looking down, I should know this by heart, but I have 7 properties. 4 of them are duplexes. So I have 11 units across the 7 properties. So 5 of them are PadSplits, which is a co-living model that I do. And so BRRRRs number 6 and 7 are being set up as PadSplits. They're listed now. And basically, just in shorthand, it's you rent out the rooms by the week to individuals. So it's really an answer or hopefully one of the answers to the affordable housing crisis, because there's just not enough places for people to live and people can't afford apartments. So it's, kind of part of my mission of what I wanted to do, give back, give to me and my family, but also, doing something good for people. There's a lot of folks that just can't afford, first month's rent, last month's rent, security deposit, like what do they do? So PadSplit has really been a mission that I believe in and sort of speaks to like what I want to do in terms of giving back to the community. So that's where I am right now. I have 7. I'm looking to expand my portfolio next year. I want to maybe look into bigger deals, maybe a 4-unit, an 8-unit, and just scale a little bit from here. So yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell. I am a mom. I have 2 kids. My daughter is 14 and my son is 9.
I would love to know if you totaled up all your ARVs. What's the number?
Yes,
Just get
2.4 million.
One more time, sorry.
2.4 million.
2.4 million. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
2.4 million in about 3 years, give or take.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is amazing.
That's just my rental property, that not including my primary.
It doesn't include primary, only rentals. Got
Yeah.
it.
So that's, that's a number I can't even believe is coming out of my mouth right now. And it's due to this program. I mean, if I didn't find this program, I think I'd still be spinning my wheels and probably trying to like scrape up different like freelance PR jobs that would make me like super miserable. So now I have the freedom to kind of like choose the projects I want. I only have one like super small project going on right now because I need my time for this. I need my time for my kids, my little projects around the house. And so, yeah,
I love it.
it's been awesome.
That is fantastic. That is so good. I'd love to know how do you go from analysis paralysis to actually taking action and taking action now? Because I see lots of people when we first got started, people were like, oh, should I do it now? Should I wait for the market to change? There's always something in the market that you don't like. There's always something happening that makes you feel uncertain, right? But then we started, and then 7, 8 years later, I see them, they still haven't invested.
Mm.
And so I'd love to know, like, what makes, in your mind, what has taken you from analysis paralysis to like, I don't even need that challenge. I'm just going to do this. Like, what was it that worked for you? Do you have any advice?
I mean, honestly, it's just being surrounded by like-minded people in this program and having a voice that I can trust with you, Palak, because you and Nidhi have walked the walk. You are respected in the industry. I can look up to you in that way. I know that like the mentor that I'm following is actually legit, and so that gives me comfort. Um, and I guess it's also like I don't want another one of those moments where I go, oh shit, I wish I had done, XYZ. I talked about like the burnout with my corporate job, and like I was burnt out, 10 years before I actually made the leap. And I don't know if it was like fear or just uncertainty of like what my next move might be. But it's, I have like a little bit of regret and like almost like embarrassment that I did that for so long, that I tortured myself for so long. And it really, really started to affect every aspect of my life. And so I don't want another one of those really regretful moments. And so that's where, when I left my corporate job, I'm like, this is the path. This is what I've always really, really been interested in. And I've been interested in real estate since I was a teenager. So it doesn't feel like, oh, I have to do this job. I have to wake up and like go to this job and have this meeting. And of course, there's like ups and downs with the real estate investing, like we all know, but you just kind of you overcome it. And I also think that being in this program, like everything is figure outable. That's like something I always say, like there's always a solution. And you're gonna have, maybe like bumps in the road and looking back and like, oh man, like I kind of made a mistake. Like I've made mistakes along the way, but whatever, it's fine. It's fixable and it's a learning experience. And so, if you dwell on like what can go wrong, you're just never going to make a move. Things are going to go wrong. This is life. It just happens. But when you're with people that can kind of say, okay, here's how you like overcome this or get around this, or like here's how, you can fix it. And I just jump in. So
I love it. I love that so much. I think so. What I got from that is the way you think about it is failure is better than regret.
yes.
Failure is better than regret. That's such a great way to put it. On contractors' fear of construction, how did you get over it?
To me, it was a whole new world. I had worked with contractors here at my primary residence because we got reno this, but it's just a whole different beast when you're, it's my husband and I, and it's just different. It's different when you're renovating a property to be a rental, a million states away. And, how do you really keep those lines of communication open with the contractor? Um, you know, I've done so much of my business, 90% of my business. It's like I'm not there. I go to Jacksonville a few times a year, but early in the process, one of the things I found super valuable was to go there. And I met with the realtor, had interviewed a bunch over the phone. I really found one that I was comfortable with. But then I also met a bunch of contractors in person. And,
that
you know,
helped
there
you.
was one that I just immediately, and he was sort of like at the top of my list. But when I met him in person, I was immediately like, this is not a person that I want to do business with. And that was so
Oh,
valuable to me, because I had been pretty excited about working with him. But
so
I'm
he
very,
sounded really good on the phone, but then in person, it wasn't the same vibe.
it was a totally different vibe. I kind of like felt like he was being a little bit dismissive. We were at a property, a person walked by who looked like, you know, maybe they did not have a home, and he was like asking this person questions that were just, it was like disrespectful. And I was like, why are you?
Oh, values didn't match.
Mhm. Values didn't match. I didn't like the way that, like, you know, he treated me in person. It wasn't the same person that, like, you know, you're on the phone and he's being, you just get like a different vibe, I think,
Mm-hmm.
being in person and meeting them. And I was immediately like, you know, kick rocks. I'm not working with you ever.
So that's
So
interesting. So in your experience, meeting the contractor in person really helped you.
it did. It helped me. And, you know, that he was just like, I think, a bad apple. But I just got, I like a good vibe check, you know?
Yeah.
But like I said, I did a vibe check with my realtor over the phone. Maybe it's a little bit easier with realtors. Because I did interview a bunch, but I did find value in going down there and
Yeah.
talking to my contractor. But it's also like a ripple effect, you know, like I found my realtor and then he recommended a few contractors and then it kind of goes out through
Yeah.
there. It's like my contractor recommended this roof guy that I always go to and the inspector and
Yes.
you know, different. And so you just find your people and you find your team through word of mouth. It's the best because
And rock stars know rock stars. So if
exactly.
you find
Right.
one rock star, they will know other rock stars.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that is
That's true.
interesting. That is a good, yeah, the values have to match and the vibe check. And for you, meeting in person helped. That's good to
Yeah.
know. Let's talk about your vision.
So yeah, I would actually love to double my ARV. I mean, that's a huge lofty goal. But I think that if I scale up and start to invest in more, you know, multifamily deals, I don't think that it's an impossible goal.
Mm-mm.
I said it here first. So
I
yeah,
love it.
that's a big
Say it,
goal.
speak it into existence. Say it out loud.
Yeah, I'm speaking, I'm manifesting this.
That's right.
My husband sort of like at the beginning of this journey was a little bit like more reluctant, a little more skeptical. When I said I'm not like a stock market person, he is. But now, like through my journey and how he's seeing, you know, the things that I've achieved, the way that it helps us with our taxes, him, you know, offsetting his taxes, he's like more and more and more on board, which is amazing. And I'm so happy about it. So we've recently set a collective goal for him to retire within 5 years. And so
Oh my
that's
God.
another,
I
that's
love
another
that.
a big goal. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll
Okay.
see.
That is great. That is new, Eileen. I
I
love it.
know. Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you for your time, for your energy, your inspiration.
When you're ready to get serious, you can join us at theinvestoraccelerator.com.
It's like getting 1,000 episodes worth of information in 5 days, and it's everything you need to build your actionable plan to financial freedom and making work optional.